Alright, I'm going to make a video on how to remove the engine, change the crankshaft seals, and hopefully put it back together and put it back in. My 2003 Pro X, I don't know, I just could not find a whole lot of good videos on this type of thing, so I guess I'll make one. Not that I'm a professional or anything. I think all this style of sled, like late 90s, early 2000s, most of the engine sizes are all the same procedure. According to my service manual, anyway. You know, like the trails and the XCs and stuff too. So hopefully this helps somebody. I don't know what I'm doing, but I do have the service manual, so I guess we're gonna figure it out. All right, first thing you want to do, open the hood. If you don't know that, I don't think I can help you. Pull your seat off. Mine's easier than stock. Get over it. I already took the belt off. There are videos on how to do that. I already pulled the primary clutch off. There's a little rubber plug here. You take that out. You put in, I think, a 13th, 16th bolt. Get yourself the proper tool to hold on to the clutch, like a broom handle, strap wrench. They make a proper tool. Pop that thing off. If you don't have a clutch popper thing, which is real cheap off the internet, you are going to have an absolutely horrible time trying to do the water trick with the bolt. I tried it. It doesn't work. Good luck. I mean, you know, go ahead. So then we're just going to have to remove the exhaust. I'm not a filmmaker. So looks like you got the springs that hold this can down. I guess that doesn't really have to come off. You got these two springs right here. You got these springs right here. And then you got the springs that hold it to the Y-pipe. So we're going to go ahead and try that. Highly recommend not doing it without one of these. I guess you can try by strips. I've done it with all them. Don't recommend. Look how hard this is with the proper tool. These are just powerful springs. That's not forever. Those ones quite a bit easier. Alright. I recommend putting springs back where you got them, so you know which ones go where and you don't lose them. Am I gonna do it? Let's see, wait, see. Alright, now the pipe has an exhaust gasket I've already lost, and I know you're gonna be able to see it. There's a sensor on the bottom. Mine anyway. Could I have done that first? Probably. Alright, so my airbox is held on with zip ties because I don't have like the original stuff. So we're going to cut that. The airbox comes off this way. I have dial jets, which I have to unhook the little fuel line for. That is not stock, so you probably won't have that. Don't have to worry about anything there. And then the carburetor. Normally when you take the carburetors out, like to work on them, you would undo these screws and pull the slide out. I am going to try to get away with just throwing the carbs up here on top out of the way because they don't need anything. So you just you have this clamp right here, and then you have the choke cable, whatever this is, and then there's a fuel inlet line somewhere. It's this big black line right here. So each carburetor's got an inlet line. Take that out, and they should just kind of pop out of there. And like I said, I'm not taking them all the way out, so that will be it for me. And then I think we'll drain the coolant afterwards. Alright, now I have never removed coolant from a snowmobile before, but I did watch a YouTube video where they actually, to avoid making a whole big mess in the belly pan, he sucked it out with a shop vac. Just took the filter out of the shop vac, and I want to flush and replace all the coolant anyway, so I don't know how this is going to work, but this is what we're going to try. off the pull starter. Because the handle is run through like the dashboard. You could just cut the rope, there's a knot, and then make sure you don't lose the rope, put like a clamp or something on it, tie it off so it doesn't go zooming in here, but then you just have to retie it. But instead, I'm going to try to take it off in the sled, and it would appear to use metric bolts. These Polaris Cs were American, and yes, that's the proper plural for Polaris. I emailed them. It would be a 10mm bolt. So, plan is to take off these 10mm bolts. Look like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. And I'm just going to try to set the recoil out of the way off to the side so I don't have to mess with that. Is that easier than taking the handle off? Likely not. Okay. Oh, for real now? Okay, here's a good one. Mistake number 1. Maybe it's different on the regular sleds, but the Pro X seems to have this frame, or like the raised part of the chassis right here, and I actually cannot get this recoil off. Like it won't, there's no way it will fit out of here. I have to unbolt the motor and at least move the motor sideways a little bit. I don't think it's like that on regular sleds, but wow. That is a good thing to know if I ever have an issue with my recoil. It's good to know that I have to pull the fucking engine, apparently, to, to change the recoil. I'm going to clamp the rope so it can't go in. And I'm just going to cut the knot. And then when you're ready to put it back in, you just put the rope through. Alright, so recoil won't come out. That's a good one. Alright, now, if I remember correctly, I believe there is, see that nut right there? There is actually 2 of them, one there. You can't see me pointing. Alright, so there is a, oh man. There's a nut there and a nut here on the front, and then on the case side, right underneath the car boots, there is another 2 nuts. So those 4 need to come off. And then, assuming I have all of the electrical unplugged, which I'm going to quadruple check, and the coolant is unhooked, exhaust, carburetors, you don't actually have to take the clutch off till you're ready to do the seal, but it just makes the motor more lightweight, and it makes some of this stuff maybe a little easier to get to. I guess I'm not actually sure. Hopefully I don't have to take this Y-pipe off. I'm just worried about getting around that bar, but I think I should be able to move it back when I pick it up, so I see that whatever the hell this is, I'm going to have to unplug, so it looks like that unplugs right there. And I'm going to get those 4 bolts, which I've heard are kind of a huge bitch. There's this adjustment right here for, I believe it's for aligning the belt and clutches. I'm really hoping I don't have to mess with that. Maybe we'll see when it comes to the reinstall. If I do not know how to align clutches. I am just going to maybe count the threads and make sure I get that back exactly where it was. I don't know. If you're watching me, you're not watching a professional, so... Okay, that was difficult. They all appear to have washers, so I'm going to get those off with Okay, important. I'm guessing this is like a vacuum line, comes out of the bottom of the case and goes into the fuel pump, like to power it. So that's got some clamps down here. Got to pop that off. I think I will put it back on, and then when I reinstall, I will do it on the fuel pump because I can see that. This looks like it will be a nightmare to get that back on. In fact, I'm not even sure I can get that off. So we're just going to try to take that off at the fuel pump. Need some straight pliers. I think this is ready to come out. I don't know what side is best. I know that I cleared the workstation, so I have a place to set this bad lad down. So I'm hoping I can work it out without getting stuck on that Y-pipe right there. And we're going to move over to the workbench. Get some good footing. Blow out your back. Now, because I put the coolant hose back on. Make sure you disconnect the coolant hose. Now I think I got everything out. Oh yeah. Alright. Just to show everybody, these were the mounts for the front. Those were the mounts for the back. That's the adjuster. So that way you know how to leave everything. I'm going to clean all this up. The coolant hose, this goes to the top of the engine. Yeah. I am going to clean everything and grease it, and I'm probably going to take that fuel pump and rebuild it. Also, you don't have to remove the seat if you're not going to do the coolant flush. I'm going to just take the coolant hose off and make sure that's good, but it makes a good workbench. That little knob right there on the fuel pump is where that, I'm guessing that's the vacuum that operates it. So now y'all can see what this looks like. Okay, so now we are over here. Definitely want a workbench or something. So these are the vacuum, or whatever the hell works, the BES, Polaris' version of rave valves. I am going to take it off, pull these spark plug wires off, because that is what people do in the videos. I don't have a good reason for you. I know that we'll have to turn this upside down. So everything on here is metric? That is so weird. I was not expecting to run into any metric on this project. Legend has it, I'm still taking this bolt out. Now this can come off. Why? Again, I don't know. To clean it, I guess. Now in the videos, they take all this stuff off. I guess this is just zip tied on. Anything will clean everything and do clarity. I was going to replace the coil. I have another one, but I realized my problem was actually the primary clutch, which is why that was off for a rebuild, so it actually seems fairly unnecessary. Okay. Now we're going to take this bottom coolant hose, the only one with a worm-style clamp. Oh shit, yeah, there was still coolant in the bottom of the motor. Ask me how I know. I was also planning on taking these boots off so I can check out the reeds. My reeds appear to have RTV holding them on, so I was hoping that wasn't going to junk them, but I did get new reed gaskets before I decided to do that project, so that way, when that gets all totally fucked, I can replace those. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the reeds, but you never know. So might as well do that while couldn't get any easier than right here. Okay, now the recoil comes off. How about that? We're going to put that bolt right inside of there, because we're just going to put that back on later. Now, from what I understand, it says you're supposed to seal these wires with a silicone, like a high-temp sealant. I feel like if you just pull that grommet out, that's good enough. But hey, what the hell do I know? We have to pull this stator off, which is more 10 millimeter, huh? Get you a handy dandy impact. My garage might be a mess when I know where everything is. Yeah, it's a 13/16. Now, was I supposed to take that off back when I could use the recoil gear to help hold on to it? Probably. Got lucky. Nut back on to kind of save these threads. Just you know, like don't tighten it or anything. Tell me to use a puller. This workbench would be nice if I didn't have so much shit on here. I may have to go to the store now to get some different bolts so that I can pull this guy off. Okay, we are back after only like 5 hours or so. Went to the store, got the appropriate bolts, accidentally went and rode dirt bikes for like 3 hours, and then, you know, washed that up, and now we're ready to get back to work. The power of editing, you actually didn't need to know that, but figured I'd throw it in there. So you want to make sure you don't thread these in too far, so you don't damage the stator underneath. They, I mean, the original bolts are only like 1/4 inch long, so. Okay, these are totally metric 6mm course, if anybody needs to know. You know, it's Polaris, so why wouldn't it be? Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna need an impact. Am I gonna use it? I need a little bit more. Is that actually moving? I don't think so. However, I am hurting those bolts. was that? Oh, okay. So that bolt broke. Wow. And I don't have another one because I. Now this water pump cover has to come off. I need to triple check to make sure that I got a new one because I am not sure. I ordered a lot of parts and some of them did not want to come in all at the same time, and they had assured me it would be ready 2 weeks later, and well, it's more than 2 weeks later. It's not here. So we do need to take these motor mount plates off, and I guess we'll just mark them left and right. I don't think there's any like adjustment or anything. It does not. No. Why those look bigger? They're not. Shocker. That is a tight bolt. All right. Shit thinks it's funny. Wow. Okay. Okay, been a while. Where are we at? Kept breaking bolts for my puller. Just, I don't know. I had to get some more washers or something. I used some penetrating oil. Finally got this dumb bastard to come off. So that's cool. Anyway, now I did booger up the threads a little bit. Take some advice from me, and I don't know, you can use the nut or something maybe to protect the threads. Anyway, I've been waiting for a water pump gasket. I'm afraid to take that off without a gasket. It's been on back order, but I got it now. So checked the reeds, cleaned everything. That looked really good. I don't want to say wasted time. Painted my exhaust, cleaned everything in the hull of the snowmobile, if that's what you called it. I replaced this line right here. Not entirely sure what that does. I'm not a scientist. Anyway, so it kind of looks like there are some bolts for the stator. I got these 3 Phillips screw type things here. They say to mark this so you know exactly how it came off, but the wires go right there on this post with nothing. And then there's the 2 where this stuff's all kind of melded together. So I'm not really entirely sure how I'm going to be able to fuck that up. It's actually got a... Fuck if you can see that. It's actually got a mark right here that I'm assuming needs to be lined up perfectly. So that is a very good little indicator. Alright. So... I guess the Allens might be hard to get to. If you got fat sockets like mine, use like an Allen wrench. But yeah, otherwise, it appears those Phillips didn't really have to come out. I would like to point out that most engines would have an oil pump right here. That would actually be something, I'll mention it in the reinstall or maybe when I edit the video. that you would have to disconnect the lines in the drive for the oil pump. Mine does not have that. It runs premix, but generally most of the stock Polarises and stuff, as far as I know, are going to have the oil pump, but I don't. So over here, we got these bolts for the water pump, and as you can see, that covers both case halves, so that I would believe needs to come off. Alright, and just as I thought, gasket ended up totally destroyed, so this was the right choice. A little bit of coolant in there. That looks really good. A lot of guys take this opportunity to pull this water pump, oil pump combination thing out of here and work on it. There's like seals inside of there. Good chance to replace that. It would be a real pain to do in the snowmobile. However, that requires at least 2 special tools, if not more. And I just don't want to do that. So we are not going to do that. So we got, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That one is different. That looks like a 10 mil. So, right. Because why not? I do believe these are all the same size and everything. Nope, the front ones are shorter. Good to know. Back ones are the same as the front ones. I don't know if that's the front or the back, you know what I'm saying? Alright, outside ones are slightly longer than those, so gotta keep that. And the 10 mil, pretty hard to fuck that up. Looks like this motor mount bracket gonna have to come off, or at least take this bolt out, because that's in there too. Okay. Right, so that's the drive for the water and oil pumps, and that, yeah, that requires some specialty tools, and I don't feel like fucking with that. This Yamaha 3, or 4 bond, I'm sorry, Yamaha 4 bond, that's to seal these case halves back up, and then we gotta wait for that to dry before we can mess with the coolant. Got the Polaris official gaskets, but then I got the Vertex windrow, so they appear to be the same exact thing, made in the same factory. So I'm going to return those because those cost a lot more money. But I got the Vertex because those seemed like they were back ordered and I wasn't going to get them in time. And then it ended up, didn't matter anyway. But these are cheaper, and these do come with the little oil pump seal, which I do not need because I'm not taking the block off plate off. But yeah, so it has this little lip here, which is the reason you can't just hammer the fucker on. And yeah, you just have to try to pry that off of there, pop the new guys on. Easy peasy. I'm pretty sure these are identical. This looks like it goes this, facing in towards the engine. Up. Slide that off. Yeah. The metal spring seems to be more dug into the middle more, and I guess it might be a little wobbly, maybe? I don't know. I don't think these were bad, but here we are. Lined up. Okay. Greasy. It's a little dirty, but it was probably okay. Is it going to hurt it to put a new one in? Maybe, if I'm not doing it right. I guess we'll see. Rolling assembly is a little heavier than you'd think. Okay. Alright, I tried to figure out how much of the bonding agent I'm supposed to put on there, and seems the answer is... Watched a video of a guy, and he used quite a bit. I feel like I don't want it to smush in or out of the engine. He also put bonding agent underneath the seal side. It doesn't say anything in the manual about doing that, but I don't know. I don't think these seals had any on them before. There's a rubber seal. That might be a good idea. So perhaps I will try to put a little bit on there. And one other thing I noticed is it says, do not use the grease zerk to fill this with grease. I'm assuming it just means when you have it apart. So it doesn't really say when to use that, 2 days, 10 years, I don't know. It says to pack this area, the PTO side of the shaft, with 22 grams of Mobil 1 synthetic grease. 22 grams. Now it says Loctite 242, which is blue, but I feel like, yeah, I guess these didn't. It was those that the water pump ones had red on. I guess these were blue. All right, so we'll just. Alright, I'll try to put the real diagram on screen, but apparently I can't record a video and use it at the same time, so got myself a little scribble here. I'm hoping that helped somebody, and I'm gonna try wearing my GoPro for the reinstall, and I'm gonna do that in like a part 2. So I guess hopefully that'll be able to show stuff a little bit better, because I'm just by myself in a shitty little garage. I'm not like a videographer, so I guess if you want to see how that is, check out part 2, and I will put the times down here of like approximately how long this stuff took me. Maybe give you an idea of like how long this kind of project can take. Yeah, hopefully it goes a little easier for you than it did for me, but it ended up working, so I can't complain too much.